Greetings, everyone. Welcome to R.I.P.S, Racism in Plain Sight, number 9. This broadcast is intended to show and motivate people on racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it works, and especially how we can eliminate the system of white supremacy and why we should be wanting and willing and working to eliminate the system of racism, white supremacy. This broadcast reports, commentates, and studies the insane, incorrect situations produced within the system of white supremacy, racism. Viewer discretion and the use of logic is highly advised. Getting started, I suspect this would be a good clip to get us started with. It's just white people having fun, just with highly refined racism, white supremacy. It's only less than 2 minutes. So let's get started with this clip right here. Let me get it on the screen.
If you're Black and write anything in the workplace, then you need our new translator app, Niggardly. It takes what my Blackness is trying to say and translates it to be work-friendly, so I don't get fired again.
Niggardly takes the way I communicate and translates it for the predominantly white workplace.
Niggardly's turned this businessman into a business, man.
Grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, side conversations. Niggardly catches all the cultural differences before I send a message to a white coworker. Sorry, Caucasian coworker.
Why the fuck am I CC'd on something I ain't supposed to see? That ain't my job. That's not my responsibility. BCC, that's what it's for. I get out the chain. You hit me up, I get out the chain.
Niggardly helps me code switch after reading a great article on Blavity to 10,000 emails at my desk.
Please do not CC me on emails.
Oh yeah, I gets money. I gets pizza, you know what I'm saying? We get that bread, boy. I'm cake up, baby. Oh. I maximize shareholder wealth.
It's a great tool. It helps me chat with people I normally wouldn't. You want me to say the name of the website? Nah, I can't. Sorry, man. Nah.
Get Niggardly today.
It's hard being Black in an all-white company. Niggardly makes it easy.
We love Niggardly!
The website.
Deja comedy. Deja comedy.
Grammar mistakes.
So this may have been produced by people classified as Black, but the people in this on this Reddit are just using it to make fun of Black people. And I commented just one word on this post. I said gross, and I was just attacked by a number of suspected racists, to be expected. But yeah, it's just you know, white people and Black people, we all get a laugh at mistreating Black people in this way. So much time and energy seems to have been put into producing this this sketch and whatnot. Definitely does an excellent job at making Black people seeming stupid and silly, unable to communicate correctly, which from my experience is many Black people do know how to communicate correctly, have gotten the many messages from white supremacy that's saying, hey, if you don't know how to communicate, you're gonna lose this plantation job really quickly. So just producing images that further perpetuate the image of Black people being just worthless people, should not be hired, should be the first to be fired, because they can't even function correctly in the so-called workplace. Really tragic that this may have been produced by, seems to be produced by people classified as Black. but would not have be doing the rounds. I wouldn't have came across it if white people hadn't allowed it to be seen by me and to be shared everywhere. And yeah, our videos are highly targeted and deleted and removed. But stuff like this is just, everywhere, 24/7. Any comments from the panel before we continue?
Looks like pro-niggerized entertainment from the word guide.
Yep, it's definitely a strange one. Well, not that strange in this system, I guess. I'm not actually quite sure if that's written by black people or if it was written by white people. But like you say, it probably does appear to have been written by some people who've been classified as black. And yeah, just interesting, obviously, just kind of, I guess it's a parody on the actual real stress and real strain that black people have to go through or in a workplace, in having to conform and do what white people tell us in real life situations. I just don't see a damn thing funny about those types of situations at all. But again, like you say, if we just take the piss out of our situation, if we just if we lambast it, if we just have a laugh and a joke about it, then we'll be rewarded for that. A lot of white supremacists will just find that funny when we're just laughing at ourselves, laughing whilst on the battlefield. And I guess like in the code book it says I haven't got it right in front of me right now, but the counter racist code book, Neely Fuller Jr.'s one, where it says, "Do not become the entertainment committee for white people. Do not become the entertainment committee for people classified as white." And unfortunately, that's what these victims appear to be doing.
Yeah, precisely. And yeah, this is definitely what Helen said, anti-black, highly niggerized entertainment. Any more commentary from folks?
If we are, oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
This is just I don't know if it's written by a white person or a black person. To me, it doesn't really matter. Very interesting anti-black programming. Here you have the black people so dumb that they're unable to communicate without app. The app is called Niggerly, which means that the way they're speaking is a niggerly way of speaking, so it needs to be corrected. There's so many problems with this video. I suspect that it was written by non-white and white people work together to make this. I'm pretty sure, and it's also very dangerous because some people find this hysterical. Some people love hearing the N-word. Some people love hearing black people say the N-word. Very, very powerful piece of propaganda that's going to be circulated until the end of time. None of that's out there. As a brain trash victim, I also found this very funny.
Interesting. Can you? I was able to hear you, but it sounds like you're far away from your mic. But yeah, I didn't think this was funny at all, but it makes sense why some victims can and do. And just to look at the comments a bit, this person says niggerly means cheap or parsimonious, has nothing to do with etymological roots or connection with colored people. Yeah, so this is just a lie. White people are masters of deception and just promoting incorrect thoughts. So this is not true. This is definitely making fun of black people. And it looks like my comment was removed, but here I am right here. Can't really see my.
So you have a white person in the chat basically trying to say that nigger doesn't mean what we think it means.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
yeah,
okay? Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah.
So
That is.
at first I just commented gross, and then I got attacked just so viciously. People calling me niggerly, and I asked them, what do you do with them? And then this person said, this is I guess it's a racist emoji that white people use towards non-white people, especially Black people. And this person says, first time looking at yourself in the mirror. And then I edited it, my comment, to say white people are very serious about maintaining their system of welfare, tacky, trashy, and terroristic. And it was already downvoted a lot before I edited it. But yeah, just the business of white supremacy is very important to all white people. That's their real job, I suspect.
If we talk like this, if we so-called talk, if we speak improperly or in an improper manner, then whose fault is that? Who taught us how to talk like this? A race mother and race father. So, yeah, you're to blame if we so-called talk like this, which we don't. But if we do, if this is what you hear when we talk, when we speak, then it's your fault. You're the ones who are in control of the education system, are they not? They're in control of all 9 areas of people activity. So, hey.
Yeah, 100% logic, compensatory logic right there, counter-racist logic, which is desperately needed. Desperately needed.
Yep. Create a lot of stupidity among Black people, and then just laugh at the stupidity that you've created. They've been doing that for many years. You know, that's exactly what they do. They get off on doing that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, part of being a white supremacist is to have fun. Being a white supremacist, and you know, that's just them having fun. And if this was written by some people who are classified as Black, I would, if I could, I'd ask them the question: what do you expect the constructive result to be after people have watched this, after white people have watched this, after Black people have watched this, after any other types of people that are classified as non-white have watched this so-called comedy sketch? What do you expect the constructive result to be? Or what do you expect any result to be after we've watched this? What are we supposed to do as a result of watching that? Work against racism, white supremacy, laugh at the fact that we are victims of racism, white supremacy. You know, what do you expect their constructive result to be? I would love to ask them that question.
All very excellent questions. All right, let's go to just more evidence that we are in a system of racism, white supremacy. So it seems to be some sort of museum in China. I don't know where this museum is located, but just look at we see the age-old tradition of comparing people classified as Black to animals. And the comments on this video are also very telling. But before we comment, I want to play.
Right, they're just walking around, not shocked whatsoever.
Yeah,
having the time of their lives. Is not shocking. They're not looking at those pictures as to say, "Oh my God, this is really horrible." No. They're looking at this and thinking, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah. So I'm gonna play another video, and then we'll discuss. We'll compare and contrast.
Normalize anti-Blackness.
Yeah.
Normalize dehumanization of Black people, even in so-called non-white countries.
Yeah, let me get the other clip that goes with this one. Oh, here it is.
Come here.
come here. You scared of black people, yeah? You scared of black people, yeah? We are not scary. We're just normal people. Stop being fucking scared, bruv. You dumb bitch. Shut up, man. Dumb bitch. Dumb bitch. Shut the fuck up. Man's literally walking in the alley, fam. This woman sees me. She literally goes and fucking runs off, fam.
So the show Hellbound seems like the show Hellbound and the system of white supremacy in general is doing its job at making people very afraid of people classified as black, dark things. It's just all darkness in general. And
1 second, 05. This looks like it took place in England.
Yeah.
And this happens a lot in England. And this victim of racism, white supremacy, it looks like he had enough. And he decided to confront the person who was another victim. This is just tragic. It's so insane that it's I get it, that hellbound, all these, everything is working. Everything is working. I'm not sure if she's seen it. I just how new this is, but black people are. It's been this way for hundreds of years. I suspect are the scariest beings on the planet. We're the most powerless, and the most powerful beings, who are white people, literally are like seen as benevolent, innocent creatures. Tragic.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure everyone on this panel and most black people who will find this broadcast in the future can relate to someone seeing us and getting frightened, turning the other way and whatnot. And this is a part of the psychological warfare that has been designed against black people. The system has made us into monsters and monstrosities, and it has trained everyone to treat us like scary monsters that, you better get away from them. You better run, Hellbound, that #1 Netflix show right now. And this comparing that with the clip with the so-called Asian people in the museum, just having a good old pleasant time watching, looking at pictures of black people being compared to animals and whatnot. And there's a comment on that video. Let me see if I could bring it up actually. I think it was on top comment. Okay. All right, look, this one right here. I'm sure this is by a suspected racist. But it is the animals that are insulted by being compared to the human species. These are magnificent life forms that can live on Earth without ruining it. All right, who is ruining the Earth? White people or non-white people? White people are the only people who have the power to so-called ruin the Earth, to destroy the planet, pollute the planet, exploit the planet. White people are doing that, and the so-called Asians are only doing what they've learned from the white people. Xi Jinping or whatever, a victim of racism himself, but he's just doing what he's learned. He's gotten the message. If I want some sort of comfort and resources, I just gotta mistreat the black people, and that's what everyone is doing worldwide on this planet. Everyone has gotten the message that keep black at the bottom, and you'll be able to get some comfort, and that's what's happening. But it's so overt. First of all, humans don't exist. If humans existed, this broadcast wouldn't need to exist. This museum wouldn't exist, because humans will treat other people humanely. It doesn't happen on planet Earth at all. So we are simply subhumans, people or persons, but there's no such thing as a human. There's just so much confusion being tossed around everywhere 24/7 by confused victims and very, very deceptive white people, suspected racists. In regards to the black person, black victim chasing the other victim, I think this was like a really neat counter-racist experiment. Even though she's not a suspected racist, she's definitely very, very anti-black. And yeah, this was definitely a learning experience for her, hopefully. But I doubt it. She's gonna go continue being anti-black, doing nothing to solve the problem, and just being comfortable being dominated as a yellow victim of racism, white supremacy, so-called Asian person. And it just reminds me of my first day in Hong Kong doing an intern there. My coworker just told me like three jokes about black people, like black people shouldn't go out at night because we can't see them, and do black people bite their fingers when they're eating chocolate because they have chocolate fingers or they look like chocolate, just stuff like that. So everyone has gotten a message that hey, you can always have fun mistreating black people. Everyone's got the message. So I think this was a victim doing a counter racist experiment, even though he may not see it that way. And yeah, it's just really, really tragic that this is the stuff that we have to report on and commentate on to show you this is racism, white supremacy. This is how it works, and this is what it is. It's black people at the bottom being perceived as vicious monsters, and everyone supposed to be afraid of them, even other black people. Uh, any more comments before we continue?
If you Google any kind of stuff about racism or any kind of anti-black stuff involving Asian people being anti-black, you will be inundated by black people being so-called, committing Asian hate crimes. And when I look at the relationship between people who are classified as Asian and people who are classified as black, the amount of examples of anti-black racism at the hands of Asian people are just they're just so plentiful, going back many years. And it's only very, very recently with the Stop Asian Hate campaign where we kind of conveniently, a lot of people have been encouraged to conveniently forget about like that cinema clip, the exhibition clip that you just played, anti-black sentiment in there, obviously. And you obviously had everyone remembers the advert as well years ago where it's an Asian woman, Asian female, was, I guess it's this, I don't think she's with him in the advert, but it's a black male in the advert as well. And then the Asian female sticks the black male into the washing machine, and she quote unquote washes him, and then it turns into an Asian man, right? A lot of people remember that one. That was banned. There's so much anti-blackness in Asian commercials, adverts, TV, film, going back decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. And on another note, it is worth pointing out, people who are classified as black do not have the power to impact Asian people in their economics, not their education, not their entertainment, not labor, law, politics, religion, sex, or war. I think it's just worth pointing out. And also, to that, the last clip that you played with the black male doing that when he was avoided, I guess, by the person who's not black. I didn't even see if she was Asian or if she was white. Actually, I thought she was classified as white, but if she is classified as Asian, then she is. I have to say, just to kind of to speak to the psychological effect of being a victim of racism. When I first saw that clip earlier on, I thought, I can't believe he did that. My first instinct was, oh man, that's such a silly thing for him to do, because it's not going to have the effect on her that he thinks it's going to have. She's still going to be practicing. She's still going to, not have a high opinion of black people. But that's the first thing that went into my mind, right? And obviously, that lasted for a couple of seconds, because in my lifetime that I've lost count the amount of times when I've been walking down the street and just countless amount of just white people, non-black people, just avoiding, just crossing the street, clutching their purses, etc. And on some level, I have at some points in my life really felt the urge to do stuff like that. Right? I haven't done it, but I have actually felt the urge to do that. Right? So then also when I began to think of it, I thought, okay, you know what? I'm looking at him because he probably would be, if other people look at that, other people, black people and non-black people, white people as well, are going to be looking at that sort of clip and thinking, oh, look at how aggressive this black guy was. Look how horrible he was. They won't take into account the fact that this has probably happened thousands of times to him as a victim of racism. And you just have to take that type of psychological abuse from people who are not black on a daily basis with no reaction. Right? So yeah, so I would urge other people who look at that, don't be quick to judge that victim of racism, that black person, because he's probably had to put up with that type of behavior from non-black people so many times. And at this point, he just snapped. That's what it was. He just had enough at that time. It's a lot of frustration having to live when you're not experiencing this type of stuff. Then you probably wouldn't understand it unless you go through it yourself.
Very, very well said. Lots of logic and correctness in what you just shared. And in regards to Black people not having the power to impact any group, especially Asian, so-called Asians, that's 100% accurate. Look at the screen. Black people have no friends, and that is a very true statement. Could be false, but I think it's very true. And just look at the position of Black males in particular. You know, everyone has the ability to mistreat us because white people allow them to do so. You know, just a whole so-called Chinese people and what they're doing in the concept known as Africa has just really telling that we have, as a people classified as Black, as a collective classified as Black, have no power to solve this, because we have just been so brutalized and psychologically terrorized that we don't have the ability to think correctly for the most part. And if we did, we wouldn't be in this situation. We'd be able to counter it. But because we've been so brutalized and victimized and put in such a pitiful position, this is the result. You know, everyone thinks they could, everyone can brutalize us, walk all over us, and we rarely know what to do about it. And yeah, Black male getting whipped by Asian male, not okay, not correct, but we'll continue unless we solve the problem, convince more non-white people, especially Black people, to get serious about solving the problem. And I'm just gonna put this on the screen one more time. You know, this is the message going out there. You know, Black people are monsters, beasts. You should be afraid of them. You should want to kill them. You should want to harm them. So many reasons to be motivated to solve the problem, the race problem, known as racism, white supremacy. Where are we going next? All right, let's take a quick break from seeing Black people being brutalized and just going to decoding whatever this is.
So yeah, they were chanting, Jews will not replace us. That's what they were chanting in Charlottesville. Jews will not replace us. Now, as a Jewish person, when I heard that, I laughed so hard. And here's why. What the fuck job do you have that you're worried the Jews are coming for you? We don't want to work at Hobby Lobby. We good, all right? TV? Oh, are you saying that Jews control Hollywood? Because you can leave. If you want to interrupt me with anti-Semitism, get the fuck out of the show. Oh, did you not get the laughs you thought you were gonna get? Okay. Just the one word and nothing to follow it up with. So you think that the people in Charlottesville were all on TV and worried that Jews were coming to replace them on television? That was your thesis?
Not really.
Not really? What was the point of yelling that then?
I didn't yell it.
So who did?
You stopped chewing my popcorn for a second. I replied that
You replied TV.
Jewish people control TV and they do a great job of doing it.
We control TV and we do great. That's not how anti-Semitism works. Like you can't just be like, I love their hook noses. Like that's not.
That's not what I said. You said that.
So you're saying that they control TV, that Jewish people control TV?
Well, they do a great job of it. There's a lot of Jewish people.
That's still prejudice, man.
You're making it prejudice. I'm not.
The phrase Jewish people control TV, I don't give a fuck what comes after that. You can't just be like, Jewish people control TV, and I rather like that. Like, that's, I'm just trying to help, man. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
We're in television.
You're in television? Are you all Jewish?
All right, I think that's enough, but it's just a really interesting word battle between two suspected races. This whole that Jew word, that J word is highly confusing, and it seems like white people rather get defensive over it. I don't know if the so-called Jews control Hollywood. I think white people do. So yeah, but it was just so interesting to see this what appears to be a white man get so defensive over the attack, his perceived attack on I guess his religion. I don't know, and the then putting words in people's mouth. That's very a very noticeable tactic that racist men and racist women use. They will pretend like you said something and attack what they are pretending that you said, because he never the heckler had never said that Jews control Hollywood. He just said two letters, literally TV, and then that was all the ammunition that this suspected racist needed to do battle with him with words. So very interesting for me at least, and perhaps a display on just the deception that takes place from racist men and racist women. Yeah, cause I've had it happen to me. I have had it happen to me all the time on the internet. People will pretend or assume that I said something when there's like a record of what was said between me and whoever I'm talking to. So very significant. Perhaps we must be aware of that tactic of white people putting words in our mouths when we are talking to them in order for them to confuse us further. You know, that's a very easy way to confuse someone. It's for you to let them believe that they said something that they actually didn't. And I think a lot of Black people have gotten in trouble for allowing that to happen. And I guess it's all my commentary. Folks want to chime in. I'm pretty sure this particular clip will get copywritten, but we'll see when I upload it. Any more comments from the panel?
Non-white people, please pay attention to the term prejudice. White people love throwing that term out there and we gobble it up. I mean, no, scratch that, not gobble it up, but we regurgitate it. We repeat it, not understanding what we are saying. Please ask yourself, please ask white people. When they say prejudice, ask them for a definition and make them break it down to you. And that word is not even a part of my vocabulary. So take heed.
I think this this white person really did this just for the possibility of it going viral. I don't even think he was offended by what transpired, and I agree with 05, 26. A lot of things were put into his mouth because he only did state TV. I don't know who runs anything on planet Earth. I do know that most things, if not all, are ran by white people or people who classify themselves as white. Um, this video, that's an example of a white person, being just wanting to prove himself correct in any scenario. But I do see this as a way just to get attention. The same way white people, you know, adopt black kids, just to get attention and to be closer to something non-white. Pretending that he's actually being oppressed, or this person is being prejudiced. As a term that they, I think Helen said, that they throw that out a lot. But yeah, very frustrating video. Frustrating video.
Funny enough, there's a documentary called "How the Jews Invented Hollywood," and that's the title of the documentary. Mr. and Mrs. YouTube. Sorry, right? That's the title of the documentary. It's not my documentary. It's a documentary that was written by, narrated by, the idea for the documentary, the people that star in the documentary, etc., are all people who are classified as white and Jewish. They classify themselves as white and Jewish. Now, that statement I just made there is either true or is false. Anyone is quite welcome to go and find that documentary. It's freely available on YouTube, and you can just have a look at quite a few people who are classified as white and Jewish talking about how they invented Hollywood. Make of that what you will. And usually anytime, I don't usually get drawn into that type of debate about what type of white person who's classified as white runs this or runs that. I don't usually get drawn into silly debates like that, because if someone is dominating me, I don't care what religion they are. If I'm on a plantation and someone's got a whip in their hand and they're whipping me, I don't want to stop to ask for their religion. I don't care if they're atheist, if they're classified as Christian, if they're classified as Jewish, etc. If they're a slave master, they're a slave master. And if you're classified as white in a system of racism, white supremacy, to me, you're a racist suspect regardless of your religion. That's just business, strictly business, and that's just how I look at you. If you are classified as white, if you classify yourself as white, and usually if anyone gives me any kind of information and makes a statement like that to me, like the person in the clip made, I would just ask a simple question: have you done a simple head count of the people who work in television and ask them their religion? Have you done a simple head count? I mean, I've heard this from when I was so in my younger years to now. People have been talking about this subject, and I just find it interesting. No one ever says, "Have you got the proof? Have you just done a head count? Have you just just done literally simple counting?" Have a look at the positions of power in so-called media, as the trope is usually. Just have a look at the people in so-called media and see how they classify themselves. I think that would be an end of the argument. Look at the editors, look at the screenwriters, look at the producers, look at the executive producers, and then you probably will get an answer really, really quickly. I mean, I did a Google search probably about, say, 4 or 5 years ago, and I was looking at who's the head of Disney, who's the head of YouTube, who's the head of Facebook, who's the head of WhatsApp, who's the head of blah, blah, blah. It was illuminating. It's quite, let's just say this information is freely available it's literally just a quick Google search. If you want to find out who the heads of various companies are, you can just Google the information for yourself. It's not hidden. Wikipedia, I found, is very, 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 very illuminating. which if that's a constructive phrase to use, I'll mute my line.
Thanks for the input, everyone. You know, the next two clips are really what the t-shirt is all about. Save the Children, you know, designed by actually Sir and Ash. But nonetheless, save the children. Because if not, we're not gonna solve this problem.
Yeah, let's go.
White power! That's your little boy dressed up? Yeah. Why'd you dress your little boy up in clan clothes? I just want my kid to know that it's okay to be proud of who he is. And if being proud of his heritage makes him a racist, well, I'll teach him to be racist, you know?
Okay, so this is just your regular run-of-the-mill overt racism. This is the kind of racism we all expect to see, and when most Black people, non-white people think about racism, this is what comes to mind. You know, the KKK, you know, the skinheads and whatnot. But this sort of racism takes place 24/7. You know, they don't have to be wearing the KKK hoodies. There's a reason the problem hasn't been solved, and that's because white people have a number of ways of teaching their offspring, their children, on how to be racist. You know, you're a white school teacher. If she has offspring and she's letting them watch content from Area 3, that's how they're being taught racism. You know, her saying nigger in her household, or her making comments about non-white people, especially Black people. That's how they're being taught racism as well. It doesn't need to be this overt, you know, this white man in the hood teaching their offspring how to be racist. It takes place in many forms. This is just proof that racism is taught. And Obama said that that this generation is getting better, or the generations that are coming out are getting better. But we're gonna play some clips that clearly show that that's not the case. You know, racism is still a problem. White people still are very serious about maintaining it, especially the younger folks, because they want their piece of the pie too. You know, they want the ability to be on top of everyone, and the ability to mistreat people who look like myself. So we children should not be subjected to sort of indoctrination, but white people are indoctrinated in a manner that makes them deceptive, aggressive, and abusive, and non-white people are indoctrinated in a way that makes us submissive and docile to the abuse and deception and mistreatment that comes from white people. So very different forms of programming, but it's taking place from the womb to death, essentially. And I'll mute my line.
Wow, the deceptiveness of documentaries, so-called documentaries like these. Wow, the person narrating that documentary, the person who's actually making the film, is probably the most deceptive and probably the most effective racist among all of those people right there. And he's passing himself off, looking, oh my God, look at these are the racists over there in the clan robes. What the, and then most Black people, most people classified as Black who are even more confused than I am. I'm still confused. Most people looking at that documentary will probably, yeah, those are the racists over there in the clan robes. What about the person narrating the video? He's just as racist as they are. He's just really, really good at hiding it and practicing it in a deceptive way. This guy, that's so deceptive. I'll take my hat off with people like that. Those types of people that just convince us on a daily basis. You know, Trump is the racist, but Joe Biden's not the racist. The people in the clan are the racists, but this person doing the video is not the racist. You know, I'm not even going to say the people on you. I mean, well, I may as well just name a few. You know, Tim Wise, Jane Elliott, etc. They're very, very good at calling out some other racists, but then you know, they as far from what I've heard of them and from commentary I've heard from them, stuff that they've actually said with their own mouths in interview, they're as racist as the people that they're talking about. Just, you know, just really, really deceptive at practicing racism. Non-white people looking at that documentary, do not be fooled. Please do not be fooled. The person narrating the video is probably just as racist as the people in the clan robes.
Yeah, and go ahead, sir.
Fascinating video. Had everything. Area of religion. I believe the white male, white supremacist said that he was God's chosen people. He believes that white people are superior. Gotta appreciate, direct answers. The guy didn't really seem to be practicing deceit. He's very adamant about his attempt at sustaining the system of racism, white supremacy, and it involves indoctrinating children. It involves children are a huge part of maintaining racism, white supremacy. And he said, "So my son can be who he needs to be." I'm pretty sure that means practitioner of racism, white supremacy. Appreciate the video, and also the robes are, black. So it's very interesting how they're still longing for, DNA that doesn't get wiped off the planet. Yeah. Very interesting video.
I mean, if the white person that is actually making the documentary, if he really was genuine and he really wanted to do something about racism, white supremacy, why didn't he just not announce to the non-white audience that might be looking at that documentary and say, well, one of the things you could do, non-white people, is just view all white people as racist suspects, such as myself. One thing you need to change the way that you look at white people, change your relationship towards white people, right? But obviously he's not interested. He's just interested in practicing racism at in a more deceptive way, so that we, looking at the documentary, will look at that and go, these Ku Klux Klan members, they're really, really fascinating. Oh, they're so bad, and they're wearing this and they're wearing that, etc. Meanwhile, this guy is so much more effective at being. He probably works in more positions of power as well than those KKK members that we're encouraged to think are the racists.
Yeah, 100%. Excellent commentary from Smoking Damages and Sarah. Yeah, this is the black, the covering oneself in black because they view black as powerful. It's just so obvious that the ISIS papers is a very correct piece of information with a lot of valid analysis on what it means to be white and why they practice racism, white supremacy. And yeah, excellent. I do appreciate the honesty from the racist white supremacists. And yeah, he definitely told like it is. He practices racism, white supremacy, the religion of racism, white supremacy, and he wants his offspring to do the same. And the only difference between him and Tim Wise and Jane Elliott is that he does it in a different manner, but they all have the same goal. Tim Wise, Jane Elliott, this person right here, and the broadcaster, they all have the same goal: to keep the system going and to keep us confused about what to do about it. Okay. So that's how the white side is being indoctrinated and what they're doing about it. And let's see what's going on the black side.
Okay.
We don't need to watch all of it. But notice, I'm just going to explain what just happened for folks who may have missed it. We just black female who was just pulverized by a white woman. And what's telling about this clip is that she's surrounded by Black people. You know, there's only Black people around her, but we've been so indoctrinated and dominated and put in a pitiful position that this white woman can still beat the hell out of this Black female and no one helps her, even though she's the only white person that I've noticed surrounded by Black people. Now, you think if this was reversed, white people wouldn't have helped their white woman who was being brutalized by a Black female? I think they would have helped, but just goes to show you our cowardly position that we've been placed in, because no one tried to help this Black female. You know, look at them just making fun, recording it, you know, jokes to them. Seeing Black people get mistreated, get beat up, jokes. It's fun. World star, you know, that this is the state of race and white supremacy. This is the kind of stuff we have to report to you all, hopefully to motivate you to change your thoughts, speech, and action so we can solve this problem, because this is our so-called youth, you know, the next generation who is so used to being at the bottom, so used to seeing Black people get beat up, killed, that, you know, it doesn't even faze them, you know. So a tragic travesty, to say the absolute least. Monsters and monstrosities is what we all have become, white people, non-white people. And yeah, stuff like this should not be happening. But in a system of white supremacy, it's very easy for it's very easy apparently for Black people to get their ass beat and not receive help from anyone. That's kind of the norm. That's kind of what it is to be in a system of white supremacy. You know, you could hurt anybody you want as long as they're classified as Black, and get away with it, get famous for doing it too, you know. And you don't even got to worry about the other Black people helping them, because us racist men and racist women, we've done an excellent job at making them, you know, just docile, silly, confused, and stupid, and just cowards. You know, look at it, look at us, smack them around. It could be dozens of them around, but no one's gonna help, because, you know, we made sure that they're in their place. We have them in their place for a very long time, and there's nothing that they can really do about it. At least that's what they think. Any commentary from the panel, other hosts?
And I noticed that as well. Like when I saw the video, I was like, so this is a white female pulverizing a victim of racism, white supremacy, in a area that seems to be filled with predominantly Black people. Have to agree that this generation must be used to being niggerized, which is very understandable, completely logical considering how powerful the area of entertainment is. And there's all these social media apps where Black people are constantly the butt of all jokes and all ridicule. So I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they didn't jump in and start kicking the Black girl with the white person. Very tragic, to be expected. This generation needs to be exposed to Dr. Francis Prescosen and Neely Fuller Jr. Immediately. To me, that's the only thing that's gonna provide them with any constructive information. Clearly, their attempted parents are not doing much because they're gathering around, fighting, recording each other. What's the name of the video? Run Up, Get Done Up. What's called, right? Silly.
Yes, sir.
Silly behavior. Very tragic.
Yeah, that's sad. You know, when I first heard Dr. Welsing talk about that, about Black people being afraid of white people, just the psychology of being a victim of racism, white supremacy for so many years, I did. When I first heard that, I didn't really know what to think about that, and I did kind of feel a certain way about that. I was thinking, well, I'm not afraid of no white people. But in actual fact, if we really think about it, a lot of us are afraid of white people. We are very, very much afraid of white people. And unfortunately, the white supremacists know it too. They understand that we are afraid. That a lot of us have, but like I said before, there's a difference between fear and cowardice. A difference between fear and cowardice. So, even though we've been conditioned to be afraid, we really should not be cowards. And I can't judge other people's cowardice at the end of the day, but I do understand that there is a difference. You would always there's so many different types of reasons to be afraid of going against white supremacists, because there's consequences. That's why a lot of non-white people, we like to go against each other, because most of the time there's no consequences for going at another black person, but there's consequences for going against people that are classified as white. You see how many times, I mean, even if we looked at this live stream right now, most of the time, if you say anything stupid or nonsensical and talk about black people doing harm to each other, the white supremacists will leave you alone and leave that content up there for ages. But if you talk about going against the system of race and white supremacy, most of the time, sometimes there can be consequences. So yeah, black people, we need to really understand that and really talk about that a bit more, and understand the difference between fear and cowardice. It's a lot of conditioning that we've been under as victims of racism for many, many, many years. But you don't have to be a coward. You don't have to be that. Fear is fine, but if you give in to the fear, that's different. That's completely and utterly different.
Very well said, Mr. Smoky Damages, Mr. Sir. And a great segue into this. For the word guide, everyone should go to producejustice.com, buy your code book, and buy your word guide ASAP, so we can all be on the same thinking about how we can solve this problem. Because white people are all on the same thinking of how they can maintain the problem for us. So we all need to be thinking, acting against white supremacy in a way that makes sense. And Neely Fuller says, calls it an intelligent fear. I suspect we all have an intelligent fear in this panel, which is intelligent fear ratio from 175. Use this term to apply to the fear that a non-white person has of a white supremacist racist, while that non-white person is speaking in or acting to replace the system of white supremacist racism. With the system of justice balanced between people, intelligent fear is a form of cautious and calculated courage. I'll read out again. Intelligent fear is a form of cautious and calculated courage. So we all need to have a little bit more intelligent fear and a lot less what I perceive to be cowardice, which I may be in error. But this video is just really sad, really sad to say the least. And just rips racism in plain sight. I doubt any of these victims here are even suspecting of these white women of being a suspected racist, white supremacist, but this is the condition we've been brutalized into. And
yeah, we get conditioned all the time. I mean, the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor understood that he wasn't a coward, and he shot back at the white supremacists when they booted down the door. And what happened there? The white supremacists showed the world that, hey, if you fight against us, there's consequences. So they condition us on a daily basis to say, like, if you do get the courage to stand up to us, there are consequences to your actions. So a lot of, instead of a lot of us saying, like, no, we are going to fight against you, we are. It's a hard psychological hill to climb for a lot of us. But I encourage the fellow soldiers out there to not be cowed by the white supremacists.
Very correct. All right, well, I don't recall this video, but let's give it a study.
inside it all?
Move! It's on fire! I don't give a fuck! I just moved! Now give me my money is what I'm asking for! Y'all was just laughing in there! Now you wanna come out here and act serious? You're fucking stupid! Bitch, that's why you work at Burger King! That's why you work at Burger King! Making $13 an hour, huh? They make $10 an hour working this bitch. They all over here talking about it's on fire, bro! It's on fire, bro! I don't give a fuck!
Oh wow. So it seems like this place, this Burger King is on fire, and the Urugu still wants a refund. And I just think it's what she said was very just significant. She said, y'all were in there just laughing. Now y'all want to be serious. Yeah, they do want to be serious. Black people should want to be serious worldwide. You know, that's what we need to do. We need to stop being silly and laughing. We need to get serious. That's the only way we're going to be able to solve this problem. But the Urugu moment and this one is, that control, that power and control, when she's not able to control them and get them to get their refund back. She starts name calling them hoes, making fun of them because of the job that white people have allowed them to do. And yeah, it's just so interesting that white people have no problem making fun of us when they know that we are in this position because of them. They know. And if they don't know, they must be one of those rare, less intelligent white people that exist. But really telling. Not much more to say about this one. And again, Karen is not it's a euphemism. Karen is a euphemism for suspected racists and or white supremacists. And this term needs just white people masters of words. They have, I think this term came about during the COVID pandemic or whatever, and it has stuck ever since. We're probably gonna be seeing people call white people Karens and Kevins until we solve the problem now, because it's just an easy way to avoid calling things what they are. Racist men and racist women are not Karens. They're racist men and racist women, and we need to be able to call them that. Yeah. Any commentary from this one?
Not surprised. I did also note that she mentioned, "Oh, now you guys were just in there laughing. Now you want to be serious." And I suspect that that is correct. Obviously, I see a lot of videos of non-white people working in these establishments and clowning around for the most part. So her behavior is unacceptable, of course, but what Yugi was speaking of was totally probably accurate. Black people need to be more serious versus being entertainment, being walking caricatures. Not much to say about that.
Yeah, that is a very good segue into the next clip, the next tragic clip that I have to play for you all. It reminds me of Neely Fuller clip. I think it's Neely Fuller, the 18th visit to the cows, where he's saying that like Black people, we hate something serious. We're always asking, find me something silly to do, find me something stupid to do. Find me something stupid to do. And this clip is very, very tragic. And just look at all the people looking at him. Just, and this is why worldwide Black people are perceived to be, people classified as Black are perceived to be everything but serious. It's because we've been trained by a racist man and racist woman in this manner that we're going to see on the screen right here. You know, first they made caricatures about us, you know, first they made cartoons about us being silly, you know, depicting us doing really, really stupid stuff. And then they managed to successfully train us to be those caricatures, to be those racist cartoons from back in the day. Smokey Diamonds, I see you unmuted your mic. You want to chime in before I play this one? All righty.
Oh my God.
What did Neely Fuller say? The black male is the most impotent creature on planet, the most impotent creature in the form of a person on planet Earth. And case in point, you know, even in this situation, you know, not many of the non-black people are laughing, but you can for sure see the black males in the corner of the restaurant enjoying this display of stupidity, this display of acute stupidity and insanity, I would call it. Because, you know, what is the constructive result of this display? I see what may be a so-called Asian right here, and they're just gonna report this back to their dwelling, their victim units, to their fellow white people. And guess what the niggas did today? I was at McDonald's and they all just fell on the floor, and having a seizure. You know, just being just clowning around. And this is why us as a collective of people classified as non-white, we should develop an aversion to wanting to have fun in this manner. We should develop a high aversion to wanting to be associated with any such images like this from now on. You know, you trying to joke around like this, you know, don't do it around me. Wow. Yeah, just
yeah, I encourage all non-white people, when you see this type of stuff, if you got people in your life that send you this type of stuff, I just encourage you as a codified response to just not share it and tell those people in your life not to send you stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's the same for other people here in this chat. For me, down through the years, I've been sent countless of this kind of just black people classified as black acting really, really stupid and silly, right? Just acting really, really stupid and silly. And I just had to, quite a few years ago now, I just had to just tell everybody that I know, and I just sent a joint text message to probably everybody in my phone book. I just said, don't send me this type of stupidness. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to, just leave me out of it. If you're going to share this type of ridiculousness, just don't send me it, because I just don't want to see it. Usually if I'm on any kind of social media and this kind of stuff comes up, I just delete it straight away. I just don't look at it, because it's just rubbish. It's brain rotting stupidity. It doesn't encourage anything useful. All it does is encourage other black people to harm each other and to look at each other as figures of fun. And that's why usually when you see other people who are not classified as black, when they're making these types of racist jokes about black people, usually it's about black people being harmed, or black people deserving of no help, or black people just being pathetic. That's why we are the butts of the joke. So if you want to just carry on and just sign up for your own destruction, keep forwarding stupid clips like this about of black people acting in idiotic ways, non-constructive ways. You know, then you know we'll be on that road to oblivion faster than you, than I'd like it anyway. You know.
It's pathetic and very pitiful, pathetic. These young black males doing this for likes and follows on TikTok, Instagram, whatever apps they're on. It's just sad. And this particular video reminded me of when I was a little bit younger than this in middle school, how I used to clown around and turn myself into a joke to get people to laugh. And it's just sad. And maybe I was doing that for it. I know I was doing that for attention. I'm pretty sure. When I was like participating in silly behavior, but wasting food, giving people to talk, giving more things people to talk about black people, especially black males. I look at these black males wasting food. Now the employee has to clean this up. They're just so they're just so good for nothing. That's what the people are thinking. I don't even see many of them laugh. I just see them being these guys again. But these guys again doesn't really mean these guys. These N words. Yeah, tragic, very very pitiful. Yikes.
Yeah, you're correct. I see the black people laughing and the non-white people. I mean, the white people, non-black people, just confused, but probably not that surprised. This is what we train them to do. When our business is booming. This is a white supremacy.
Exactly. During the lockdown, what do we see? Just more and more twerk videos, crate challenge, and just stupid behavior. Just for anyone listening out there that knows me, don't send me anything like that. Just don't send me anything like that. I can't repeat that enough time. I just don't want to see it. Don't want to hear it. Doesn't do anything for me.
All right, so this is like a little counter to the black destruction we've been seeing on this broadcast so far. So let's just give this a watch. So that was that was suspected racist. Tekashi 69, who has made himself famous for saying nigga, making garbage noise that people call music, and just confusing the masses. I was doing work in the area of the world known as South Central LA, and I was in the dean's office with one of my colleagues, the vice principal, and she's also the dean worked there, and there was a so-called Mexican male there. And he told me he wanted to be just like 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine. That's what he said. And I asked him, "Do you know that 6ix9ine is a clown? Do you know that he's a clown?" He's like, "I don't care. He's still cool to me." So yeah, racist man, racist woman have produced these idiots, and they want us to follow them. They want the youth to follow them because 6ix9ine not trying to solve problems at all. He's just a person I suspect to be white who's gotten famous for ghetto glorification, essentially. And it's just interesting to see this sort of content. Yeah.
Grills tattoos, rinse and repeat, grills tattoos, rubbish music, grills tattoos.
Yeah, the color of her hair, and it's a such a deceitful way to amass a following, because children are programmed to like colors, to like flashy things, to like shiny things, to like clowns basically, and non-white people have been trained and decorate ourselves in the grills and in the flashy hair, multicolored hair, and 6ix9ine same
He's
way.
like the Ronald McDonald of of rap music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sarah, did you want to chime in?
I'm happy to see this white Mexican fall, but the story that you said about the kid in school are very tragic. I know there are millions of kids who are not black, who are probably white or close to it, and they say the N word now because of this character, because of 6'9". Um, and what you said really is correct. Whoever manages him or whoever runs his image, were really particular about making him appealing to young masses. They want the youth to be anti-black just by first of all just by saying nigga and not being black. It should be classified as practicing racism. It should be classified as being against black people, but it's so accepted now. Mainly because black rappers, including Kanye West, but will do songs with these non-black people who say nigga, say they're gonna kill nigga, all this stuff. So yeah, it's hilarious that he fell. It would have been a little bit more better if he was unable to get back up from that fall.
Thank you, Sarah. Smoking damages. Nigga is a racial slur, and it's an anti-black slur no matter who's saying it. I suspect. Yeah. Okay. Where should we go next? Is there a video attached to this one? Oh, there's no video. Because I'm sure this content will get removed. But Texas student, she mistreated in the form of physically assaulting a black female teacher. A white woman did that. She also used racial slurs, I suspect. Let me see. No, the teacher can't be heard. You touched me, I didn't touch you. I'm calling my mama. You ain't about to fuck me up, bitch. The student can then be heard speaking on the phone explaining how her teacher was a black and fucking pissing me off. So yeah, this black female can't even do her job without just the Yurugu just going insane, I wish I could play the video or find the video. But yeah, if you
Yeah,
saw the video,
I remember that. I remember that video. As soon as I saw it, I thought I knew exactly what was. I knew they would get to the kind of explaining, talking about how she's depressed or talking about how she's on medication. And sure enough, her mum recently came out and said just that, or words to that effect, about how she's on medication. She suffers with some sort of just something to excuse her racism. Yeah, some sort of medication of which one of the side effects is racism. It's racism, white supremacy, which is what they always do. I remember Roseanne Barr before years ago when she was, I think was she calling Michelle Obama a gorilla or something, and she said, "Was it? I'm on some sort of medication, etc., etc." And she named the medication. And the drug company actually came out and said to Roseanne, and said in an open letter to Roseanne, she said that they said, yeah, our medication has many, many side effects, but racism is not one of them, right? and that's what someone should tell that mother, that mother, her mother there. I mean, she's saying something about, you're not about to F me up, black bitch or something. This woman's, yeah, you need to come down here because this teacher's black and everything, and blah, blah. It's like, yeah. This and obviously the obvious thing there is, obviously, if that was a black male student or if that was a black female student in that situation saying that kind of stuff to a teacher, get out of school. Just get out of school. Don't even think of coming back to that school. You're definitely going to get expelled. You probably might even get charges brought against you, and those charges will stick as well. You're probably going to be looking at some sort of jail time. You're going to have a criminal record for the rest of your life.
That's what should happen. And just the Daily Mail, a racist piece of propaganda, what, despite the video going viral with almost 130,000 views on Twitter, Castleberry High School has so far not explained the incident or what led up to the extraordinary outburst. This is what they're calling it, an extraordinary outburst.
No racism. No racism. It's just an extraordinary. We don't even know what kind of outburst it was. We just it was just an outburst, right? And I don't know, she might have said something, something about black, but that's not exactly racism. It must have been due to the medication, because sometimes the medication makes you say nigger, Oh god.
Yeah, this is white power 101. It's a white woman here. This is a white woman. This is a black female. Totally different power dynamic. One on the right, very powerful. One on the left, very powerless. Go ahead, say it.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in. I watched this video, and Smoky Dumb is totally correct. They were calling her all types of B's, like this. Mom, you gotta come down here. Yeah, and she's black. This black teacher about to F me up. It was just the way she said black. You can just tell that racism is normalized in her household, and you can tell that she knew that she could dominate this black person. She knew that she could smack her hand, take the phone away from her, physically assault this teacher. She knew she could do all of it. And the black female just had to remain calm. And she really had to just not engage, and restrain herself. Because she also knows that, she is powerless. She's also wearing I'm just gonna say a hat over her head, blocking her mind from fully being able to see what's going on anyway. When I say the hat, I'm talking about the black female's hat.
Oh, dang. Hope for everyone.
All white people should be treated like black people until a system of racism, white supremacy ends.
Yep. That may be some motivation for them to stop mistreating us. All right, let's see this Kanye West clip, and then we'll go to our final clip.
Kimye and create a narrative that's not the narrative that God wants. Yeah, come on, man. The narrative that God wants is for you to see that everything can be redeemed. In all these relationships, we've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I've publicly done things that were not acceptable as a husband. But right now, today, for whatever reason, I didn't know I was going to be standing right here. I didn't know I was going to be in front of this mic. But I'm here to change that narrative. I'm not letting E write the narrative of my family. I'm not letting Hulu write the narrative of my family. I'm not letting Disney write the narrative of my family. I am the priest of my home. I am the priest of my home. I am the priest of my home. I have to be next to my children as much as possible. So when I'm out the house, I got a house right next to the house. I'm doing everything to be right next to the situation. Right next to the situation. I'm trying to express this way in the most sane way possible, the most calm way possible, but I need to be back at home. Why is that? I'm saying it's I because if the enemy can separate Kimye, there's going to be millions of families that feel like that separation is okay. But when the kingdom, when God, who has already won and is so, brings Kimye together, there's going to be millions of families that are going to be influenced and see that they can overcome the work as a separation of trauma of the devil that's used to capitalize and keep people in misery while people step over homeless people to go to the Gucci store.
Wow. See, Kanye is a victim of racism who will say a number of things, and there'll be moments of truth sprinkled into the immense confusion, and I see this as him begging for his white wife, Kim Kardashian, for them to go be back together. I see him pleading for her, when she's out going on dates with Pete Davidson, because I don't think Kim Kardashian is confused at all about racism. She used his blackmail for his image, and she benefited greatly from him. And now she's out with Pete Davis, and he's out here being super confused, and this especially confusion in Area 7 religion, which is really, really tragic. But he is correct about some things, that the enemy does want to drive enemy being racist man, racist woman, they do want to drive people apart, but those people are not white people and non-white people in the bedroom. Those people are black male, black females in a bedroom. That's who the enemy is wanting to be not together. They don't mind a white woman and a black male because they know that that white woman is confusing that black male further. Case in point, Kanye West. So, moments of truth. And if anyone's heard his interview with the Drink Champs, he famously quoted nigger, rapper means nigger in that industry, and I think that's has some accuracy to it. But yeah, it's just so tragic to see Kanye West pleading to be back with his white wife, and him thinking that he's in a correct marriage. He's not. Black people are not allowed to be married in the same manner that white people are allowed to be married, because at any moment, a white man could come down and take your wife, take your children. And that's what happened to Kanye West. It looked like his wife was taken by Pete Davidson or whatever. Super tragic. The enemy does want to divide people, and those people are black males and black females. This is why the gender war is going on. This is why the so-called independent black woman, so-called high value black man, that does not exist, but these are images being fed to us for us to have and stay into conflict with one another. So moments of truth that you can find in this confusion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that this is Mr. Ye pleading to be put back with the comfort of whiteness, which AKA Kim Kardashian. I do suspect, and also that is true. Kanye West is a very he's an extreme victim. He's a victim that's and he's also Kanye West is a victim of racism, white supremacy. He's also being racially showcased as a celebrity, and due to that, he has rare opportunities to speak globally to people. So I heard a lot of confusion in this clip, but I also heard him say that media corporations are attempting to portray an image that encourages people to, give up on their relationships and to, leave marriages and whatnot. And that totally is accurate. I do suspect that who, whatever the name of the organization, they may be attempting to, trash their relationship if they are, still talking. It's not my job to comment on celebrity relationships, but I do believe that Kanye West is speaking some aspects of truth. If not that, he's definitely sharing his current reality.
Very well said. All right, we'll get into. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Damages.
Yeah, it was really sad. I was thinking, like, I've seen a few of Kanye West's interviews down through the years, and yeah, unfortunately, he appears to me anyway to be very, very confused. And it would have been really refreshing for me if he'd just come out and said, nigger is people who are classified as black in a system of racism, white supremacy. Doesn't just mean rapper. I mean, Tekashi 6ix9ine is a rapper. So's Eminem. Are they niggers? You see, sometimes people say stuff and without asking questions and without analyzing what they actually say, then it appears to make a lot of sense. And as soon as you look at rappers, there's lots of rappers. There's lots of different types of people who call themselves rappers. That other woman, that Iggy Azalea, that other white female rapper, is she a nigger? I mean, come on now. I mean, look, it's his VGQ. He can say what he wants to say, and anyone should analyze it and for constructive information. But I just don't think that that statement there made sense when he said, you know, about the nigga in rap music, because lots of white people. Anyway, for reasons as to what I just said. And also, I think, unfortunately, and I wish this wasn't the case, but unfortunately, I think he's probably about to get a real bad wake-up call that the strongest religion in the world is the religion of white supremacy. And if he gets any kind of divorce proceedings with Kim Kardashian, and if there's any kind of conflict between them when it comes to money and taking away his money, he's gonna get a wake up call that the strongest religion in the world is a religion of white supremacy. No matter what kind of god he calls on, you know, whatever they want to happen is, I suspect, is what's going to happen. Unfortunately, I wish I was wrong, but I don't think I am.
Precisely, very well said, and I have to retract my statement about him being accurate about rapper equals nigga. All right, final clip. So I think this person was originally a person classified as non-white, so-called Middle Eastern, perhaps, but and this is what they're doing to themselves now. He got 2 of his fingers surgically removed so he can be more like a...
Oh, disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can find his before these surgeries started to take place. Let me see if I can get a picture of it.
Whoa, what the hell has he done that for?
Modified.
Wow.
All right, yeah, here goes.
The real reason is that some type of whatever deity that is inside him, and it wants to look more like what the really is.
So,
Man is
yeah.
possessed. Body snatched.
Yeah, around 10 years ago, before he began his dramatic transportation. So I don't know if it's a white person or a non-white person. I can't tell.
So disgusting.
Yeah, so yeah, and if it's a non-white person, he's gotten a message that, hey, I could be anything but non-white. You know, it's better to be anything but non-white. You know, I could be wants to be an alien. You know, he wants to be a alien or something like that. It's really disturbing. He's just, yeah, he's
alien, tiger, anything, anything but classified as black. anything that's non-white, anything that were being classified as non-white. Wow, that is gross.
Now they're calling him a black alien. That's what they're saying now.
Yep.
Wow, that is gross. That is really, really gross.
This is some sick stuff, man.
I agree. I agree.
I'm gonna go here and say I think he's classified as white, judging by those pictures. He looked like he's classified as white. I think some white people would probably classify him as white. I think.
Yeah.
And you know, like I was saying on a previous broadcast, sometimes if you're classified as white and you move through the world like that, we are not oppressed. You know, sometimes you just got to find other ways to entertain yourself. This looks like one of them. It just that's disgusting.
Yeah, it is very disgusting, and it just, yeah. If this person is classified, why does it go to show you the white power? You know, because he's making a living. If he's a white person, he's allowed to live. Only non-white people exist. So yeah, he's making a comfy living if he's able to get all these surgeries. He gets sponsored. I remember seeing this fellow many years ago before it got this
yes.
Before it got this like before he got so many surgeries. And yeah, him becoming a black alien, that's what racist men and racist women are have perhaps maintained a system for, because they are not black. They do not have that melanin, and they are a global minority. So this is just him like wanting some color in his skin, and he finally got the color in his skin, and him also, um, I don't know, maybe in his own eyes, evolving into something better, which is a black alien, something capable of producing melanin. He just had, but it's not real melanin; it's just ink. So really, really disturbing.
Conversely as well, I remember thinking about that years ago. I think Dr. Welsing brought that up as well. Like if from the opposite side, if people who are classified as black, how many of us, after being victimized for so many years, how many of us, if we could be white by noontime tomorrow, would probably take them up on that offer? I suspect, unfortunately, I think. Yeah, that unfortunately some people classified as black would probably take up that offer. I think white people try to imitate us for many, many different types of reasons. I don't think they kind of want to be, they definitely don't want to be treated like a black person. They might want to look in some cases like a black person, but they definitely don't want to be treated like a black person in a system of racism, white supremacy. That's why you tend to see sometimes they try and get the lip injections and the butt injections, etc. But they ain't handing in that white card for nobody. They definitely don't want to be treated like a non-white person in a system of racism, white supremacy.
Yeah, absolutely not. And if you got white power, you could, yeah, it has to be a white person. A black person would never have the luxury of doing something like this. And if they wanted to, I suspect it would be encouraged, because they love seeing people mutilate themselves, especially black people. But it seems like from this image, probably a white person, probably a white man, and now he is a black alien, which is probably what he's always wanted to be, at least black. So yeah, and this, yeah, people should just be comfortable in the body that they come to the planet with. But race and white supremacy just does such a good job at producing insecurities in all people, to the point that they can be driven to such madness that we're seeing here on the screen. So hope the broadcast was constructive. If you made it this far, I hope you are motivated to solve the problem. Hope you buy the code book, producejustice.com, spread the code, spread the logic to other victims of racism, and get comfortable asking white people the serious questions of how can we solve this problem and why haven't they done it already. So yeah, not much else to say. From the other host, Mr. Smoking Diamond, just Mr. Sir. Any final words?
Very constructive. Very constructive. Learned a lot. The last one was just completely disturbing, and it's if people started doing things like that to themselves, it is simply a manifestation of how they perceive their physical body to look. So to me, that this is not like, oh, why did he do it? He did it because that's how his mind tells him that's how he looks. I'm not sure what kind of scenarios he's participated in, what kind of scenes he's found himself in, but very very scary, very scary, disgusting. I would never want to look at that. I wouldn't want to walk down the street and walk past that. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, broadcasts like this are still needed. If anyone disagrees with, if anyone disagrees with anything that was on this broadcast today, the best way, the fastest way, the most effective way to stop people like us from making these types of broadcasts is replace the system of racism, white supremacy with a system of justice. Any kind of counter-racist idea or speech you've ever heard is in effect written by, crafted by the white supremacists themselves. When you think about it, these are reactions to a system of racism, white supremacy. Injustice just creates reactions to that injustice. So, you know, like I said, we're not the problem. We're just trying to work against the problem. If you really don't like the fact that we're trying to do something about racism, you try and do something about it. You try and end that system. You know, save the complaining for the problem makers, not the people who are trying to work against the problem.
So well said. And I'm reminded the Urugu mad scientists allowed this person to get these surgeries. It was probably a Urugu doctor that chopped his fingers off and put all this stuff in his skull, you know. So, you know, this sort of insanity, they're all up for it, but the sound wanting to produce a system of justice which guarantees no one is allowed to be mistreated and those who need help receive constructive help. Why aren't they willing to help us make this system? You know, we should all be able to live in so-called peace. There should be a balance in the universe, and that is all we're trying to do here, is produce that balance and motivate you all to do the same. CRWS signing out. I hope you learned something.